Finishing solution. Okay, I've been banging on a few times in some of my videos about finishing solutions, and this is another knotting video, except I bet you never thought you'd see one of these as a knotting tool. But this is my whisk, and my whisk is going to help me make a finishing solution. Now, what is a finishing solution? Well, for me, it's a protective coating that I can put over my rope work. If I bring some out here, for example, this is my bell rope that I produced a little while ago. In fact, I think it's probably about 2 or 3 years old now. And when I made it, it was made from natural fibres. And one of my concerns was it's going to hang outside for about 8 to 9 months of the year. And what I didn't want to have to do was replace it, I suppose. I wanted to give it some form of protection for when it's hanging outside. And for something that hangs outside for most of the year, this is still in pristine condition. And the reason for that is I've coated it with a finishing solution. And the finishing solution itself, which I'll show you how to make in a little bit, is absolutely fantastic. It goes on like water. It soaks into the cord that you've got, and then it sets nice and hard, and that is a lovely solid piece of rope work. And the beauty of that is as well is that it's now got a glue-like coating on it. You don't feel it. Well, you can feel it just slightly. It just feels slightly different than natural cordage. But what it does is it allows me to hang something or put something into a dirty situation, and then when that's been done, I can take it away and I can wash it. In some cases, if it's, for example, a piece of paracord, I can just throw it straight in the washing machine. I know you can throw paracord in a washing machine as well, without any finishing solution, but sometimes I have finishing solutions on bits of paracord, which I'll also show you in a bit as to why, where and when. And the beauty of it is that it does give a protective coating. I can now scrub this with a scrubbing brush, and any mildew that's got on it, dirt, etc. is easily washed off, and then it's hung for another 2-3 months during a very wet, cold season, and then it goes out again, and I hang it on my bell and annoy the neighbours on a regular basis when I chime the watches. And so that's basically a finishing solution. Also, I mean, for example here, the finishing solution on this natural cordage here, this is going to be one of my ditty bag handles, but this has got a finishing solution on it. And with this one, you can feel more that there is a finishing solution on it because it's got a slightly more matte finish, but I think that's the material itself. This is cotton, and in fact when I feel this is polished hemp, which feels more polished, and the cotton, probably because it's slightly furry, it's those little furry bits that make it feel a little bit like Velcro. If you've got really hairy string and you go to grip it, it feels like putting your hands in a bramble bush or something like that and grabbing it. But if you've got something hairy, burn the hairs off, coat it, and then you can also, with a very stiff denim type material, you can rub it up and down a few times to get rid of some of the barbs that have come onto it, or a bit of emery cloth or something similar to that if it's really rough. But this is now totally protected, and so therefore, as I use my ditty bag, it's going to get grubby with time. I can then, every so often, just soak it in a sink, scrub it with a scrubbing brush, and hey, Bob's your uncle, it's back to new and pristine condition again. Here's another example. This was my, or is, not was, is, because I haven't given it away yet, but this is my cat of nine tails that I made once, and basically I've used the finishing solution on this, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not coming undone. This star knot is as hard as rock at the end, but it's still got a lovely star knot shape to it. This here not only has this got a coating on it, but it's also locked it in place on my bamboo here, and so therefore that's not going anywhere. It's stuck in place. If I look here on my lanyard, This is my lanyard that I use with my dog. He is gun dog trained. However, he doesn't do the training anymore because we got sick of being bottom of the class. Because when it comes to doing stuff on land, he doesn't care. But when it's water, he's top of the class. But anyway, that's another problem. But here, on my lanyards, what I've done is, on this point here, just this point, I have put some finishing solution because this is where my final knot is. And what I wanted to do was make sure that it's locked in position with the finishing solution. So I'm not really protecting it, but what I've done is, I've actually glued the inside by letting the finishing solution soak into it. And to be honest, when you touch it, you don't feel a difference because this was very smooth paracord anyway, and it absorbed it beautifully and it's now protected. And so I know that knot there is not going to come undone because that's my finishing knot as well. And because I've coated it with a finishing solution, it's not going to come undone. This one here hasn't got anything on it because basically it's not a finishing knot as such. It's a knot in between two pieces of work, so there's no way that's going to come undone because those cords are part of it and those cords are part of the knot as well. It's only this top one here. And so what I'm going to do today is this bracelet that I made, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to completely cover this with a finishing solution, but when I create a knot, what I like to do is I don't like burning the ends off my knots. I think it looks untidy. I'm not a great fan of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip this knot into finishing solution. The solution will absorb itself into the knot and then it will lock itself into place. And so, yeah, that's what I use my finishing solution for. Anything that I want to protect from coming undone or anything that I want to protect from the elements, such as this little beauty here. I do like this one. That's what I use it for. That is what I make up a finishing solution. And so that was the introduction. I will be putting more information below in the description because I'm sure there's things that I've forgotten to tell you now that I will put in the description. And I'll also hopefully put links into the exact PVA glue that I use and any other information that I've forgotten. And if you want to purchase this tool, beautiful knotting tool that it is, go to a cook shop. I'm sure they're dirt cheap. And put it this way, as I'm doing this video, nobody in the household knows that I'm going to use this for something other than food. So when they've watched the video later, I'll be in trouble. Okay, I'm just going to get the stuff together to make the finishing solution and I'll come back to you. Right, I have now got myself this board because the last thing I want to do is my suede background. The last thing I want to do is mark and damage that any more than I have to because that's one day going to be another ditty bag. But that's a later project. Okay, the first thing I've got for my project is I've got myself, this is it used to be a mayonnaise container, and basically what I've done is I have marked it up as poison, okay, because the last thing you want anybody doing is going into the fridge and using this, okay. I don't think PVA glue is poison, but if you write poison on it, you can guarantee nobody else is going to touch it. Yes, I keep it in the fridge because that preserves it. Also, the other thing is, I can imagine if somebody drank this and then you had to have a poo later on, I think it would be like fossilized poo. You know, so you would suffer, I think, if you did drink this because it will certainly keep you bound together. Anyway, that's my bottle. The other thing I've done on the bottle is as well, on the back side of the bottle, I have marked up 1/2 litre and 50/50. So I know what solution this is, and the 1/2 litre is only for the future. When I make up more of a solution, I know that the complete bottle is 1/2 litre, and depending on what solution I want to make up, in this particular case it's 50/50, so I would use 1/4 water and 1/4 PVA glue. So that's my bottle. Oh, the other thing I like about this bottle as well is it has got the squeezy function, but not only that, you can actually take it off and you've got a larger lid there within which that you can dip a toothbrush. Yes, you can use a toothbrush, but I was going to say a paintbrush. Okay, so that's why I use this particular one. However, you can, if you want, get yourself a Tupperware box and use a Tupperware box so that you've got a long trough within which to dip your work, if that's the way you want to do it. What I would suggest to you is that when you've made up your finishing solution, always test it on pieces. Get your scraps of paracord and put some finishing solution. Scraps of string, anything, put a finishing solution on it and let it dry. Takes a while to dry, but as it's drying, it absorbs into the cord, and you will then, after say 24 hours, I usually leave mine for, you will know exactly what state your work is going to be in if you actually use it on a finished piece. So that's just another little quick tip there. So that is my poison bottle. Okay, nobody's going to drink that, or if they do, they're stupid. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I know, for example, that my bottle holds half a litre of fluid. So what I've done is, I have got a quarter of a litre, because half of a half is a quarter, and I've got a quarter litre of just normal water here. And the next thing I'm going to do is, into that water, I'm going to put my PVA glue. Now this is called decorator's PVA, and it's a general purpose adhesive, primes and seals. Now I was kind of hoping that when I read the back of it, it would actually tell me what was in it. So once again, check out the directions below on my video, and I will write in there and tell you exactly what it is. In the UK, it's known as PVA glue. In the States, it's, from what I understand from the Americans, it's called Elmer's glue. And basically, it's that white woodworking glue that's all a bit messy and runny type thing. But we'll see that in a second when I make it up. Okay, so what I do is, I get my water here like so, 250 mils of water, quarter of a litre, and I'm now trying to open my PVA glue, but it's got a childproof lock on it, and so it's causing me some problems, being the child that I am. Right, so what I've done is I've opened it up now, and all I'm going to do is take it up and pour my glue in. You can see how white and fluid it is anyway, and pour it up to the half litre mark. That's half a litre. So I now have a mixture of 50-50 PVA glue and water. Now, you can experiment with this. You can have it so that you've got 75% water and 25% glue. Or you can make your glue stronger. Put more glue in, less glue in. And then the next thing I'm going to do, and it's so simple, it's water soluble anyway, is I'm just going to mix it up, try not to spill it on my beautiful bit of suede here, and it does not take long at all. And there we have it. I now have my PVA glue. It could probably do with a little bit longer mixing, but you can see it's very watery. You know, I mean, there's nothing to that at all. It is absolutely just, it's like, oh, it's just about water, to be honest. So there we go. I don't know where to put my strainer now, or not strainer, my mixer, because I'll get into trouble wherever I put it. Right, and so now that we've got this solution mixed, the next thing I would do is pour it into my poison bottle here, and it's already labelled up, as you know, and so then that can be stored in the fridge, and I keep mine in the fridge all the time. So every time I use it, I just take it out, I shake the bottle, look at this for video effect, shake the bottle, make sure it's all mixed up, and it lasts for ages. I've never had it out of the fridge, if you see what I mean, left it out, but I do keep it in the fridge, and it seems to preserve it for quite some time. Right, so now let's find the piece of work that I want to coat. So in this particular case, on this knot here, I want to keep the bracelet soft. Being paracord, it does wash anyway. I understand from other people on different forums, you can just throw paracord straight into a washing machine and it will wash beautifully and get all the grime off it. There's even been some suggestions that it can be done in a dishwasher as well, but I'm not sure. That's something you will have to test. But with this solution here now, obviously this is my weak point. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just coat this with, I can really just dip it in quickly, dip it in my finishing solution, and then that's it done. Or with this nozzle that I have here, I can actually pour some out onto my knot like so. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what I do. I've got a paintbrush. It's the biggest paintbrush in the world. And all I'm going to do is, as you can see here, it's quite messy and does dribble off. And that's it. That is now on my knot. Oh, now I've got it on my suede as well. It's on my knot and it's being absorbed straight in to the knot. And you can't even, oh, there's a little drip there, but you can see it's been sucked in. And that's all you need to do. Just that. That's it. That's your finishing solution. Hang it up to dry now, and then that will really lock it into place. You won't be able to see, you can't even see a difference there now where it's wet and dry, but that will dry as shiny as that one, and it will all be locked in place, and that is not coming undone. So I will now hang that up somewhere in a house. If it's in a warm room, it doesn't take 24 hours. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hang it somewhere, let it dry, and that's it. That's the finishing solution. And to be honest, I love finishing solution because it just solves a few problems. It solves the knot problem of coming undone. Not that I've ever had knots come undone anyway, but it just gives me that extra security. But with something like this, it also allows me to ensure that it's protected from dirt, grime, mildew, etc. And so yeah, that's my finishing solution. I'm not sure there's anything else to say about it other than the fact is my next task will be to pour this into this, and then I have a bottle of finishing solution. This should last me weeks. You don't need to buy a big container like I bought of the stuff, but I do use it fairly often, and this will last me quite some time. And so that's it. So there you go. Johnny's finishing solution. Thanks very much. Catch you again shortly. Oh, before I go, if you like this video, please share it so that others can benefit from it. Thanks very much then. Bye-bye.